Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And Skyrim is a game with a massive and colorful cast of NPCs, each with their own backgrounds, goals, and personalities for the Dragonborn to call friend and/or foe. But some of the folks we meet in the Elder Scrolls V are keeping some very big secrets, not just from the player, but oftentimes those closest to them. Whether they do this for their own personal gain, or just out of sheer maliciousness, I figured diving deeper into a few of these people could reveal some interesting stories. So today we'll be taking a look at 5 deceitful characters and their dark secrets in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Starting off, we have Malice. He's an Imperial working at Whiterun's Honeybrew Meadery for its owner and proprietor, Sabjorn. He spends most of his days sweeping, helping guests, and doing mead brewing things before going to bed and repeating the whole process in the morning. At first glance, Malice looks like any other loyal employee you would find at one of these establishments. But looks can be deceiving. Almost as deceiving as Mr. Machias himself. You see, during the Thieves Guild quest, Dampened Spirits, we meet with Maven Black-Briar, the woman behind Black-Briar Mead, Honeybrew's largest competitor. Maven informs us that she and one of Sabjorn's workers have been conspiring to have him taken out of the picture for a few months now. Once Sabjorn's gone, Maven will buy out his old meadery and change its name from Honeybrew to Black-Briar West, and allow that employee she's been working with to take over the day-to-day operations. And that treacherous one of Sabjorn's workers is, of course, as you can probably tell by now, Malice Machias. After speaking with Maven, we do some talking to the backstabbing Imperial himself. He'll explain that he's hated his boss ever since he started working, and is excited to see him ruined and take over. Long story short, the plan he and Maven settled on will see the Dragonborn poison Honeybrew Mead's current product, ultimately leading to Sabjorn's arrest by Whiterun's guard, who suspect he did it himself purposely. And just like that, Honeybrew Meadery will be no more. Shortly afterwards, Maven will buy up the property, changing its name as promised, and Malice will become the new operator and merchant running the place. After some time has passed, we can ask him how he feels about his new role, and the Imperial will boast about how happy and rich he's become since taking over. Though the remaining employees at the meadery will remark that while Mr. Machias is a fine boss, they're really unhappy working for Maven and miss their old one. For his part, Sabjorn will spend the rest of the game in Whiterun's dungeon, cursing the player, Madame Black-Briar, and of course, his treacherous old employee for what they've done to him. On the bright side, at least 3 characters got a good deal out of this whole affair. Next on our list, Nivenor is a Bosmer woman living in Riften. She's the wife of Bolli, one of the Hold's most successful merchants who owns the local fishery. Right off the bat, it's abundantly apparent that this elven woman probably isn't the kindest soul. The game heavily implies that she married her husband exclusively to access his wealth. Dialogue can be overheard between Nivenor and the other residents of the city, wherein they allude to the elf's bad intentions for marrying Bolli, and she doesn't necessarily deny it.
Hey, what's the matter with you? You have no right to spread rumors around town about me.
What rumors?
You know very well what I'm talking about. You're saying that I only married Bolli for his gold and that I don't really love him.
Well, if the shoe fits.
What's this nonsense I've been hearing? How dare you call Bolli a deadbeat?
If he paid what he owes, I wouldn't have to say anything. Besides, what in oblivion do you care?
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, come off it, Niv. We both know you married that fisherman for his gold. You don't need to put on an act for my benefit.
Additionally, when you speak to her, Nivenor's dialogue is never polite. She mocks her husband's recent adoption of religion, saying she likes how it makes him less attentive of where she spends their money, but also threatens to leave him if he donates too much of his wealth to the cause.
With my husband's newfound religion, what I do with our coin and what I do all day seems less important to him. Suits me. Mark my words, if Bolli thinks he's giving all our wealth away to some poor slob, I'll leave him high and dry. Such a waste of time preaching to the poor. If they're that hungry, they should just grow some food or something.
So, I think it seems fair to say that Nivenor's probably a gold digger, and not a very supportive one at that. However, her misdeeds may be going a bit further than just marrying for the wrong reasons. You see, within Bolli's house, beside a cabinet, a note can be found, titled Requested Report, and it reads the following. Quote, Bolly, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your suspicions are likely correct. I've been following Nivenor as you requested, and I'm fairly certain that she's had extramarital relations with more than one individual within Riften. I have yet to obtain proof of her adultery, so please do not confront her with this information until I've secured it. I'll waive the usual charges for now, but expect full payment once the proof is in my possession. End quote. Bolly must have hired an anonymous private investigator, and the results suggest that not only is Nivenor only with him for the money, but she seems to be having affairs with multiple other people. It's unclear who these third parties may be. The game doesn't give us many hints. But at least Bolly's not totally oblivious to his wife's deception. One can only hope that he'll confront Nivenor soon, and won't let her get away with it. Coming in at number 3, Alfred is the middle-aged patriarch and leader of Whiterun's ancient Battleborn family. His clan is one of 2 prominent households in the city, the other being the Greymanes, whom the Battleborns are currently in the middle of a major feud with. It's certainly an intriguing one. The Greymanes and Battleborns used to be quite good friends, until the outbreak of the Civil War, where the Manes supported Ulfric's revolt, and Alfred's clan remained staunchly loyal to the Empire. Now their rivalry is among the fiercest in Skyrim. But it seems Alfred may be willing to take this dispute a bit too far. As recently, one of the Greymanes' sons, a Nord named Thorold, disappeared after leaving to join the Stormcloak army. His family, and especially Mother Fralia, suspect the Battleborns know something, though Alfred fervently denies such accusations.
Just one more thing the Greymanes want to blame on others. It's not my fault they turned their backs on the Empire, or their mule of a son raised arms against it. And yet, they want to heap the fault on my family's good name? Ah!
Trouble is, he's lying. Blatantly. Because the disappearance of Thorold is the subject of the side quest Missing in Action, where on his mother's request, we're sent to find out what happened to him, spoiler alert, he's in a Thalmor prison, and proceed to rescue him from said captivity. Now, there's a couple of ways we can learn Thorold's whereabouts, and possibly the most direct involves breaking into the House of Clan Battleborn and getting past a master-locked door in Alfred's room, where lying on a table will be a letter from General Tullius, informing the Patriarch of Thorold's capture by the Thalmor, and demanding Alfred's silence. So he knows what happened. The Greymanes are right, and Alfred's intentionally working, or at the very least collaborating with the Empire to ensure that the fate of Thorold is kept a secret. Lucky for the imprisoned Nord and his loved ones though, we'll have something to say about that. We ultimately set Thorold free, though he decides not to return to Whiterun due to fear of being recaptured. Instead, he wants to go far away. But we also can give his mother Fralia the peace of mind that her son finally is safe. And man, if that's not gonna tense up the relationship between her and Alfred, I don't know what will. For 4th spot, Oriole is the Bosmer stewardess to Riften's Jarl Laelia Lawgiver. At first, nothing seems particularly interesting about this noble wood elf. She spends her days at the Jarl's side, counseling her on matters of the day, looking like any other steward would. But remember what we said about looks. They can be deceiving. As Oriole is actually a puppet for the Hold's most powerful crime boss, Maven Black-Briar. Yeah, remember her? The woman who got an innocent man arrested and ruined his business? Good fella. Indeed, if the player sides with the Empire, during the Civil War quest, Compelling Tribute, the Dragonborn will find, in the Bosmer's quarters, a letter written by Maven that essentially promises to reward the young steward so long as she continues serving Black-Briar's interests, which for now involve keeping her competitor's mead outside of the city, ironically enough. Furthermore, there's another letter in Oriole's room, also written by Maven, with instructions for the steward to ensure that Maven's imprisoned son Sibby is treated lavishly while in jail. And on top of all of this, if you hang around Riften's court long enough, chances are you'll eventually overhear some dialogue between the Wood Elf and her fellow nobles, where she clearly lies through her teeth in order to defend Maven. And everyone seems to believe her.
My lady, Maven Black-Briar has sent word that she requires your seal in order to expand her shipments into Morrowind.
But of course, tell her she'll have it.
Maven is one of the few people I can trust, and I'd be delighted to give her my blessing.
Yes, my lady. I will pass the good news on to her.
Oriole, a word, please.
Yes, my lady?
It's been brought to my attention that the poison, known as skooma, may be present in our city. What do you know of this?
I believe it to be a falsehood perpetrated by the Empire in order to weaken the citizens' confidence in your ability to rule.
Excellent. Then there'll be no need to devote any resources to stopping it. Thank you, Oriole. That will be all.
So, Anuriel's true loyalties clearly lie not with Jarl Laelia Lawgiver, but instead the Black-Briar family. And sadly, as the Dovahkiin, there's really not much we can do about this. We're never given the option to expose her. In fact, in the Imperial questline, we just use her little secret as a means of getting her to reveal information about Stormcloak supply trains. So for now, it seems this deceitful Bossmer is going to get away with it all. And once more, Maven Black-Briar proves herself to be one of the game's few villains that truly is untouchable. And finally, last on our list, we have someone who isn't. Adfar is a name that many will likely be surprised to find featured on this video. He's a Nord fisherman that operates a stall in the City of Solitude. He doesn't play an especially integral role in any of the game's quests or side quests, and overall isn't that big of a character. Although upon our first visit to the city, he'll be present for the execution of Rogvir, where he can briefly be seen demanding his daughter leave the area and not witness what's about to happen. After the execution is over, Adfar can be asked for his thoughts, and he'll admit that he's actually Rogvir's brother-in-law, and this whole event really has hit his family hard. So far, Adfar seems like a genuinely honorable and good character. He makes an honest living, cares for his family? Not much more to ask. Well, let's pay another visit to Solitude's marketplace, because here's where things get weird. If the player kills Jala, a fruit vendor with a stall next to Adfar's, you'll be given a miscellaneous quest objective to, quote, report success to Adfar. Now, you can't actually report success to Adfar. The game won't let you do that, implying that that miscellaneous objective flag likely was relative to some sort of cut content that Bethesda didn't fully delete. The way it's phrased is reminiscent of a Dark Brotherhood contract objective, where after you kill a target, you, quote, report success back to whoever gave you the contract in the first place. So maybe Adfar was supposed to hire the Brotherhood at one point or another. But things get even stranger, because after you've killed Jala in the vanilla game, later on, you can still receive a letter from Adfar, thanking you for doing so and rewarding you with some gold. So he clearly hated that woman. The game doesn't make much of an effort to explain why. Perhaps Bethesda would have elaborated upon this dynamic further in that cut Dark Brotherhood quest. Maybe he thought Jala was taking too much business from him or cutting into his profit margins. Something else I suppose worth noting that should set off a few red flags is that if you visit Adfar's home, you'll find that on top of a shelf, sitting there as decoration, is a human skull, which makes absolutely zero sense at all, considering human skulls typically only decorate bandit caves or vampire dens. And Adfar's not a bandit or vampire, right? And on that spooky note of mystery, we are going to wrap up. 5 deceitful characters and their dark secrets in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Thanks for watching, everybody. Which of these folks do you think was the most malicious or evil? And what NPCs do you suspect to be hiding some secrets that I've yet to cover? Leave a comment down below. As always, like ratings are very much appreciated. Again, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everyone.